everybody, welcome back. So this is going to be something I'm going to be doing with Avalon for the next 30 days. We're going to get into some issues that we had today, but first, here's a little clip of, here I'm going to ask her to canter. I'm lightly squeezing. You can see how active her tail gets, her head goes up, her ears get pinny. That's normally right before she kicks out or throws a buck, so I back her up and give her a quick correction. Today was supposed to be just a fun day. I was going to ride her in the round pen, let her run around a little bit, and get some energy out. You can see the ear pinning there. And I do back her up, get her a quick correction. So just some issues. Working on getting her to just kind of go into the gates quietly and not have to run so much and not pull through the bit so much and toss her head around. Now, throughout the video, it's going to look like my reins are pretty tight. What I'm trying to do is, I think the majority of her issues when she gets her head up real high and fights me and goes really, really fast, I think the majority of her issues, she's probably on the wrong lead. I'm not really sure. I'm not the best at picking out leads. So what I'm trying to do is keep my inside rein tipped, so her nose is tipped in, so her shoulder is pushing out towards the fence, so she'll be on the correct lead, if that makes sense. So right there, she's kind of pulling through me, so I just back her up. When she brings her head down, softens, I'll ask her to go out again. So my reins are going to look tight throughout the video, and it's not that I'm trying to micromanage her, I'm actually trying to help her. Like right there, you could see her kind of dip away from the fence. Now I'm leaving in some of the ugly stuff, you know. I appreciate anybody's help, anybody's tips, so go ahead and leave them down below. So right there, she kind of sped up without me asking. Got after her a little bit. I'm gonna leave in the ugly especially because I want to go back to round pen riding, walk, trot, canter, stops, things like that for 30 days. I want to be able to see the progress, so I'm gonna leave in some of the nasty things. I do get a little hard on her sometimes on the mouth, not trying to, but I'm also not gonna be yanked through. She bobs her head a lot. She'll just about hit you in the face. So again, I'm not trying to micromanage. Right here, I'm just asking her to drop her head a little bit, not even collect. Just lower her head a little bit and just not have it so high. So, again, I'm welcome to any tips or advice. Just be kind about it, please. So, I believe here I'm trying to get her into the canter. And she's just zigzagging, going all over the place, and not staying up against the fence, which again I think is one of the issues if she gets on the wrong lead. So I'm just trying to help her kind of stay over on the fence and get the correct lead and go into the canter. There, she finally goes into the canter, but then she starts fighting again. So the minute she starts fighting and bobbing her head, I stop her, back her up, and let her stand and think for a second. So going around here, she's still fighting a little bit, but she's keeping her nose in a little bit better. I'm not having to keep that rein on her as much. Nice canter there, nice and quiet. I like that. She broke, but that's fine. So right there, I was trying to get her to slow down. She continued to pull through. So again, stop her, back her up, and make her stand there for a second. Sorry if the video is a little bit longer, I just want to be able to see progress. So she dropped the canter here, and I tried to push her back over on the fence. And that's when she raised her head and kind of pulled against. And when I picked up to back her up, you could see her shaking her head and fighting. So I continued the pressure until she softened. Then I stopped, rewarded her because she did soft. Then she tried to walk off again, so I stopped her again. So this is sped up. I'm just asking her to stand here and breathe for a second. And you watch her head. Her head's constantly going up, looking around, going down. She cannot relax. So we're working on that as well. So walking here, only thing I would change if I could, low head, not as much bobbing, and a little bit of a slower pace, just more relaxed. She's more in a hurry. So although she's bobbing her head a little bit there, you can see she's holding it a little bit longer. She's keeping softer a little bit longer. She is bobbing in and out, but that's perfectly fine. She's trying a little bit more. I'm trying to keep my hands at a certain spot and just ask her for her head down. Again, she's still bobbing, but she is, I feel like this clip, she's trying a little bit more, if that makes sense. So here I get her into the canter. She's nice and quiet for a couple strides. I say whoa, she stops. That's really funny to me because out on the road she does not stop just off whoa. So I let her stand here for a minute and catch her breath. I rewarded the little bit of softness that she gave me. I know I'm really hard with my hands and I have a lot to work on, but that's exactly why we're doing this 30 days, work on both of us. Same thing here with the head bobbing. I'm trying to tip her nose slightly to the inside just to help keep the other shoulder on the fence and keep her on the right lead, and she's just fighting it. She'll get used to it. So this is all I'm asking. There's a couple clips coming up and we're just walking, but I'm still have my hands in the exact same positions that I did at the trot and the canter. And look at this. Nice quiet headset, not bobbing as much, starting to understand, starting to soften up a little bit. That's what I'm looking for. She's still bobbing slightly, but she's trying a lot harder at this point in the video. And I think this whole ride was like 45 minutes, but like 10 of that was me playing with saddle strings because she has an issue with that. So again, hands are in the same position here, and now she's bobbing at the trot. She's not really sure what to think of it at a faster pace. Perfectly fine, she'll get used to it. And hopefully soon I won't have to, you know, keep my hands like that. Hopefully she'll start to balance herself. You'll see us go this way a lot more in the video, and that's just because this was her harder side when I first asked her to go out. This was the side with the most fits and the most fights, so we did stay on this side for quite a while. So anybody wondering why most videos this way, that is exactly why. You work the harder side longer and more to get it better. So I asked for the canter here. Got a nice canter. She breaks down a lot. I think that's just her needing balance. But I will say she's getting quieter in the canter, at least on this day. It didn't feel as fast as it does on the road. I'm still trying to keep my hands in the same position to keep her on the fence, but I do like that stop there. That stop there was really nice. Here again, it's really sped up. I'm just trying to get her to stand here and relax. She's got a million other things. She's constantly lifting her head, bringing her head in on my knee. I just want her to stand there and drop her head and relax for more than a second or two. So we worked on that quite a bit because I was working her hard today. She sweated a bunch. And wet saddle pad rides are absolutely the best for young horses. Just throughout the winter, I couldn't really do that because they don't dry as fast. So now that it's spring and it's t-shirt weather, we can go back to hard working and getting us both up to a good sweat. What I'm happy about with the walk is she's not fighting me to run. I worked her hard on the ground the other day, and when I took her around the block just for a walk cool out, she constantly was breaking gait and trying to run, even though she was hot and tired. So I'm happy with that. Had a really good trot transition there, not as high of a head when I did ask, but the minute I asked for that nose to tip in a little bit, she bobbed it a little bit, but you see it wasn't as much of a fight there. So there's already progress on day one. She tried to go to the canter, then she kind of thought about it, and then I asked her again, she went into it. So just trying to get her balanced while keeping the canter, but you can see she's slowing down a little bit because she's getting tired. But with her slowing down because she's tired, she's fighting less. Now there I stopped her because you could see I picked up the reins and she just shot her head straight up. So I automatically shut that down because I knew if I continued to ask her to go, I probably would have a fight on my hands. So I let her stand there for a minute and ask her to go out again. For anybody wondering, she's probably had about 35, 40 rides maybe. So, the reason I'm going back to the Roundpen is all this fighting you see, and the head high, and the head tossing, and pulling through the bit. We're just gonna go back and try and fix some things. So here, I'm trying not to jerk on her. I'm trying to just get that nose in, get her balanced, and keep her moving. And right there, she pulled through me, so I pulled her into the fence. Asked for the canter here. That was better. Her head's coming down a little bit. I will take any little bit that she's gonna give me on day one. Going back and working on some things. So again, just trying to keep inside rein a little bit tighter to keep her nose bent in, and outside rein loose so that I can, right here, pull her towards the fence. when she gets off balance. But you can see she's holding her canter a lot longer. Right there, she kind of pulled through me. So I slowed her down, and then she wouldn't go forward. She starts fighting me a little bit. Got her forward again. I think she was just getting tired, and I was waiting for a good note to end on. So, again, the inside rein, yes, it's a little bit tighter. I'm just trying to keep her nose in. Trying to help her balance. If there's any suggestions as to what else I could be doing to help her balance better, let me know. But you can see she's starting to soften a little bit better at the trot. It's way better than it was in the beginning. I like this here. She's not fighting as much right there, and she's keeping her nose bent without the head bobbing. She's starting to understand what that pressure is. Really happy with that. Now right there, she got a little pissy. I put my leg on to push her over, and she did not like that. So there she started pulling through me, as you can see, kind of. So I just stopped her, backed her up a step, and made her stand there for a second. So she was doing really good, and then she just kind of pulled through me. So keep an eye out here. Something interesting happens. She's going around. She's starting to relax. She's not fighting as much. I'm just trying to keep her nose tipped. We go around again. Watch right here. So right here, we're going around, and she just stops and reaches back and tried to bite me in the leg. And then here's full speed. Tried to grab my leg. So I stop her and back her up. Yes, I got a little rough on her mouth. Probably shouldn't have. Then again, here, we're just walking. Don't even touch her with my leg or anything, and she just gets freaking pissy. So back her up, make her pay attention to me again. So I worked her till she softened and quieted down a little bit more. I didn't want to end with her trying to reach back and bite. Looking back with how long the ride was, I didn't realize I had been like 45 minutes, like minus 10 because of the playing with the strings, but it was probably her just telling me she was tired, which is fine for her to be tired and maybe slow down or something and tell me that way, but it's not okay for her to reach back and act like that. So I worked her a little bit longer until she quieted down, and then we ended there, which you guys will get to see. Lovely stop that was, but here's 4 minutes sped up. Look at her head, watch her feet real closely. She's moving sideways and forward, not standing still, just moving, and can't just put her head down and breathe. And so it took her 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes before this happened. Right here. She cocked her leg and got comfortable and just stood there. So I got off, and that's where we ended.